We are hearing SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. Yesterday we heard how demons, they were attracted to twilight. They thought it is one beautiful girl. So they said, whosoever you may be, O beautiful girl, we are fortunate in being able to see you. While playing with the ball, you have agitated the minds of all onlookers. Naikatra te jayati shalini padapadmam gnantya muhuh kara talena patat vatangam madhyam vishidati brihat stanam harabhitam shanteva drishtir amala sushikha samuha. O beautiful woman, when you strike the bouncing ball against the ground with your hand again and again, your lotus feet do not stay in one place. Oppressed by the weight of your full-grown breasts, your waist becomes fatigued, and your clear vision grows dull, as it were. Pray, braid your comely hair. Iti sayantanim sandhyam asurah pramadayatim pralobhayantim jagrihur matvamura diyah striyam. The Asuras, clouded in their understanding, took the evening twilight to be a beautiful woman showing herself in her alluring form, and they seized her. Prahasya bhava gambiram jigrantyatmanam atmana kantya sasarja bhagavan gandharva psarasam ganan. With a laugh full of deep significance, the worshipful Brahma then evolved by his own loveliness, which seemed to enjoy itself by itself, the host of Gandharvas and Apsaras. Here in commentary, the musicians in the upper planetary systems are called Gandharvas, and the dancing girls are called Apsaras. After being attacked by the demons and evolving a form of a beautiful woman in the twilight, Brahma next created Gandharvas and Apsaras. Music and dancing employed in sense gratification are to be accepted as demoniac, but the same music and dancing, when employed in glorifying the Supreme Lord as Kirtan, are transcendental, and they bring about a life completely fit for spiritual enjoyment. Visasarja tanum tam vai jyotsnam kantimatim priyam ta eva chadaduh pritya vishwavasu purogama. After that, Brahma gave up that shining and beloved form of moonlight. Vishwavasu and other Gandharvas gladly took possession of it. Shrishtva bhuta pishachamscha Bhagavan atmatandrina dikvasa sumukta keshan viksha chamilaya drisho. The glorious Brahma next evolved from his sloth, the ghosts and fiends, but he closed his eyes when he saw them stand naked with their hair scattered. In commentary, ghosts and mischievous hobgoblins are also the creation of Brahma. They are not false. All of them are meant for putting the conditioned soul into various miseries. They are understood to be the creation of Brahma under the direction of the Supreme Lord. But direction of Supreme Lord is according to Jiva's karma. It is not that by Krishna's deciding someone will become ghost, someone this, someone that. No. He only gives the result of their previous actions. And Brahma then accomplishes that by creating different these bodies and mentalities. Jagrihu stat vi srishtam tam jirim bha nakhyam tanum prabho nidram indriya vikledo yaya bhuteshu drishyate yeno chishtan darshayanti tam unmadam prachakshate. The ghosts and hobgoblins took possession of the body thrown off in the form of yawning by Brahma, the creator of the living entities. This is also known as the sleep which causes drooling, means saliva is coming out. The hobgoblins and ghosts attack men who are impure, and their attack is spoken of as insanity. Here in commentary, the disease of insanity or being haunted by ghosts takes place in an unclean state of existence. Here it is clearly stated that when a man is fast asleep and saliva flows from his mouth and he remains unclean, ghosts then take advantage of his unclean state and haunt his body. In other words, those who drool while sleeping are considered unclean and are subject to be haunted by ghosts or to go insane. Urjasvantam manyamana atmanam bhagavan aja sadhyan ganan pitriganan parokshe nasrijat prabhu. Recognizing himself to be full of desire and energy, the worshipful Brahma, the creator of the living entities, evolved from his own invisible form, from his navel, the hosts of sadhyas and pitas. In commentary, the sadhyas and pitas are invisible forms of departed souls, and they are also created by Brahma in Pitriloka, when they do not yet get another gross body, then they are in these forms. Ta atma sargam tam kayam pitarah pratipedire sadhyebhyascha pitribhyascha kavayo yad vitanvate. The pitas themselves took possession of the invisible body, the source of their existence. It is through the medium of this invisible body that those well versed in the rituals offer oblations to the sadhyas and pitas, that is, in the form of their departed ancestors on the occasion of Shrad. Here, in commentary, Shrad, you have to understand here that Shraddha and Shraddha are two different things. Both are written same, but only line on A is different. In one case it is at the end, In one case, it is in the first A, so the meaning is totally different. The Shrad and Shraddha. Shrad is this ritualistic performance, and Shraddha is faith. So in English, those who are not precise, they cannot understand, but meaning is totally different. Here in commentary, Shrad is a ritualistic performance observed by the followers of the Vedas. There is a yearly occasion of 15 days when ritualistic religionists follow the principle of offering oblations to departed souls. Thus, those fathers and ancestors who, by freaks of nature, might not have a gross body for material enjoyment, can again gain such bodies due to the offering of Shrad oblations by their descendants. The performance of Shrad or offering oblations with prasad is still current in India, especially at Goa, where oblations are offered at the lotus feet of Vishnu in a celebrated temple. Because the Lord is thus pleased with the devotional service of the descendants, by His grace, He liberates the condemned souls of forefathers who do not have gross bodies, and He favors them to again receive a gross body for development of spiritual advancement. Unfortunately, by the influence of Maya, the conditioned soul employs the body he gets for sense gratification, forgetting that such an occupation may lead him to return to an invisible body. The devotee of the Lord, or one who is in Krishna consciousness, however, does not need to perform such ritualistic ceremonies as Shrad, because he is always pleasing the Supreme Lord. Therefore, his fathers and ancestors who might have been in difficulty are automatically relieved. The vivid example is Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj requested Lord Nrishingadev to deliver his sinful father, who had so many times offended the lotus feet of the Lord. The Lord replied that in a family where a Vaishnava like Prahlad is born, not only his father, but his father's father and their fathers up to the 14th father back are all automatically delivered. The conclusion, therefore, is that Krishna consciousness is the sum total of all good work for the family, for society, and for all living entities. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the author says that a person fully conversant with Krishna consciousness does not perform any rituals, because he knows that simply by serving Krishna in full Krishna consciousness, all rituals are automatically performed. Now this is coming, Shraddha. Those who have Shraddha don't perform Shrad, because the meaning of word Shraddha is given in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shraddha Shabda Bishwash Kohe Sudrido Nishchoy. Krishna Bhakti Koile Sarva Karma Krito Hoy. The meaning of word Shraddha is firm faith, without any doubt, that by serving Krishna, one automatically performs all duties to everyone. Just by serving Krishna, because watering at the root of tree, whole tree is nourished. So devotees, they are always doing devotion to Krishna, so for them, it is not necessary to do Shraddha ceremony. But sometimes we see, as Prahlad Maharaj, he already liberated his all forefathers, 21 generation. Nrishingadev he told him. But same Nrishingadev told him, you will have to perform Shraddha ceremony. Not because you need to do that, but because other people, they will follow you as a king. So if you will not do this, then they will think we also need not do. But they are not devotees. For them it is good if they do Shraddha. Then that will gradually help them to develop Krishna consciousness. So he had to do. And he also got married on the order of Nrsimha. But to show what is ideal household life in devotion to Krishna. And that is why also sometimes we see those who are in Raganuga platform, they don't need to do Vaidhi Bhakti, but they do it to be example for others who are not on Raga platform, so that they will not try to imitate him, and they are not on that platform. So everything is based on qualification. There are so many qualifications. So bona fide guru is necessary. Sometimes bona fide guru may also test his disciples. He's on that Raga platform, so sometimes he may not do Vaidhi to test disciples, whether disciples will have doubt in him. He's telling us to do, but he's not doing. That is to test them, to see what is their level of understanding of Guru. But that is not for all, because not all will pass this test. Or he may play the pastime of sickness or something like that. So one more thing I had in mind but went out. So those who those who have Shraddha, they are fully in Shraddha, but then there is no need to do Shraddha ceremony. Siddhan vidya dharam shchaiva tiro dhanena swasrijat tebyo dadat tam atmanam antar dhanakyam adbhutam. Then Lord Brahma, by his ability to be hidden from vision, created the Siddhas and Vidyadharas and gave them that wonderful form of his, known as Antardhan. Yes, they are hidden. Antardhan means that these living creatures can be perceived to be present, but they cannot be seen by vision, by our gross eyes we cannot see. Sa kinaram kim purushan pratyatmye nasrijat prabhu manayan atmanatmanam atmabhasam vilokayan. One day Brahma, the creator of the living entities, beheld his own reflection in the water, and admiring himself, he evolved Kim Purushas as well as Kinaras out of that reflection. Te tu tajagrihu rupam tyaktam yat parameshtina mithuni bhuya gayantas tam evo shasi karmabhi. The Kim Purushas and Kinaras took possession of that shadowy form led by Brahma. That is why they and their spouses sing his praises by recounting his exploits at every daybreak. Dehena vai bhogavata shayano bahuchintaya sarge nupachite krodhat utsasarja ha tat vapu. Once Brahma lay down with his body stretched at full length. He was very concerned that the work of creation had not proceeded apace, and in a sullen mood he gave up that body too. Ye hiyanta mutakesha ahaya stenga jagire sarpah prasarpatah krura naga bogoru kandara. O dear Vidur, the hair that dropped from that body transformed into snakes, and even while the body crawled along with its hands and feet contracted, there sprang from it ferocious serpents, and nagas with their hoods expanded. So everything is coming out of Brahma. Sa atmanam manyamanah krita krityam ivatmabuh tada manun susarjante manasaloka bhava nan. One day Brahma, the self-born, the first living creature, felt as if the object of his life had been accomplished. At the same time, he evolved from his mind the Manus, who promote the welfare activities of the universe. Tebhyah sosrijat sviyam puram purusham atmavan tan drishtva ye pura shrishta prasham suh prajapatim. The self-possessed creator gave them his own human form. On seeing the Manus, those who had been created earlier, the demigods, the Gandharvas, and so on, applauded Brahma, the Lord of the universe, for making human form. Aho eta jagat srashta sukritam bhatate kritam pratishtitah kriyayasmin sakam anam adamahe. They prayed, O Creator of the universe, we are glad. What you have produced is well done. Since ritualistic acts have now been established soundly in this human form, we shall all share the sacrificial oblations. Human beings will do yagya, they will get benefit. Here, the importance of sacrifice is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, verse 10. The Lord confirms there that in the beginning of creation, Brahma created the Manus along with the ritualistic sacrificial method and blessed them. Continue these sacrificial rites and you will be gradually elevated to your proper position of self-realization and will also enjoy material happiness. All the living entities created by Brahma are conditioned souls and are inclined to lord it over material nature. The purpose of sacrificial rituals is to revive, gradually, the spiritual realization of the living entities. That is the beginning of life within this universe. These sacrificial rituals, however, are intended to please the Supreme Lord. Unless one pleases the Supreme Lord or unless one is Krishna conscious, one cannot be happy either in material enjoyment or in spiritual realization. And you know that in Kali Yuga, it is recommended by Shastra, and also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached by his own example, to do Sankirtan Yagya, congregational chanting of holy name, purely for the satisfaction of Krishna. Tapasa Vidyaya Yukto, because meditation is not possible, mind is impure and restless. Also, pure Brahmins are not there to utter correctly mantras. Also, articles are not pure. Also, we are diseased. So, for us in Kali Yuga, Harinam is given because anyone can do at any time, pure, impure state. It is for everyone. If someone is impure, it will take some more time to come to spiritual realization, but it is working. Someone may be very disturbed, but if he will chant loudly and continuously, he will chant, that will purify him. With other processes, that is not possible. He cannot sit and meditate. But chanting anyone can do, also in impure place. So that is recommended for us in Kali Yuga. Tapasa vidya yukto yogena susamadhina rishin rishir hrishikesha sasarja bi matah praja. Having equipped himself with austere penance, adoration, mental concentration, and absorption in devotion, accompanied by this passion, and having controlled his senses, Brahma, the self-born living creature, evolved great sages as his beloved sons. Here, commentary, Simon Harches nicely saying, the ritualistic performances of sacrifice are meant for material economic development. In other words, they are meant to keep the body in good condition for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. Like Varna Ashram Dharma, that is meant for this. But for actual attainment of spiritual knowledge, other qualifications are needed. What is essential is Vidya, or worship of the Supreme Lord. In Brahma Sutra, this Vidya is described as devotion. Means knowledge. Knowledge of your eternal relation with Krishna, and then naturally devotion is coming. Sometimes the word yoga is used to refer to the gymnastic performances of different bodily postures with help of mental which help mental concentration. Generally, the different bodily postures in the yoga system are accepted by less intelligent men to be the end of yoga. But actually they are meant to concentrate the mind upon the super soul. After creating persons for economic development, Brahma created sages who would set the example for spiritual realization. Tebyash Chaikaikasha Swasya Deha Syamsham Adat Aja Yat Tat Samadhi Yogardhi Tapo Vidya Virakti Mat. To each one of these sons, the unborn creator of the universe gave a part of his own body, which was characterized by deep meditation, mental concentration, supernatural power, austerity, adoration, and renunciation. This is the end of this chapter. Here Srila Sai Maharaj in commentary says that those who are addicted to sense enjoyment, they cannot get spiritual realization. And the purpose is yoga samadhi, means total concentration on Krishna. So the principles of renunciation are these four regulative principles. And to absorb the mind in the Supreme, in Krishna consciousness, is the process of spiritual realization. So both must be there. Like our Gurudev told, one is medicine, Harinam, and proper diet also should go along with medicine. That is, we have to give up these four sinful activities. Then one can progress. Chapter 21. Conversation between Manu and Kardama. Vidur Uvach. Swayambhuvasya Chamanor Vamshah Paramasamatah Katyatam Bhagavan Yatra Maitu Naidhire Praja. Vidur said, the line of Swayambhuva Manu was most esteemed. O worshipful sage, I beg you, give me an account of this race whose progeny multiplied through sexual intercourse. Here in commentary, because this is sometimes wrongly understood. So I will read the commentary. Regulated sex life to generate good population is worth accepting. Actually, Vidur was not interested in hearing the history of persons who merely engaged in sex life, but he was interested in the progeny of Swayambhuva Manu, because in that dynasty, good devotee kings appeared who protected their subjects very carefully with spiritual knowledge. By hearing the history of their activities, therefore, one becomes more enlightened. An important word used in this connection is Paramasamata, which indicates that the progeny created by Swayambhuva Manu and his sons was approved of by great authorities. In other words, sex life for creating exemplary population is acceptable to all sages and authorities of Vedic scripture. I said yesterday or some days back that depends what Krishna wants from whom. This is also accepted as service. Like that example was of Chaitanya Das. So it is not same for all. Same is principle that we have to serve Krishna. Then what Krishna wants from someone, that will be given by bona fide guru according to qualification and also what is the necessity for service to disciples. So if one can follow that order of guru, then that is perfect. The ultimate calculation or superiority, inferiority, or purity, impurity is how much one is dedicated to satisfy Krishna. That is measurement. Priya vrato ta napado suto swayambhuvasyavai yatha dharmam jugu patuh sapta dvipavatim mahim. The two great sons of Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavrata and Uttanpat, ruled the world consisting of 7 islands, just according to religious principles. Tasya vai duhita brahman deva hutiti vishruta patni prajapate rukta kardamasya tvaya na gha. O holy Brahmana, O sinless one, you have spoken of his daughter, known by the name Devahuti, as the wife of the sage Kardam, the Lord of created beings. Tasyam savai mahajogi yuktayam yoga lakshanai sasarja katidaviryam tan me shushru shave vada. How many offspring did that great yogi beget through the princess, who was endowed with eightfold perfection in the yoga principles? Oh, pray tell me this, for I am eager to hear it. So she was Ashtanga Yogini, perfected. Yes. So here also we see, by accepting, she accepted him as husband and he accepted her as wife, and the result was they got Bhagavan as their son. So the day before yesterday I was speaking about rejecting when it is not favorable for devotion and accepting in favor of devotion. So here also we see Ruchir yo Bhagavan Brahman Daksho va Brahmanah Suta Yatha Sasarja Bhutani Labdva Bharyam Cha Manavim. O holy sage, tell me how the worshipful Ruchi and Daksha, the son of Brahma, generated children after securing as their wives the other two daughters of Swayambhuva Manu. The Prajapati Ruchi married Akuti and Daksha married Prasuti. Maitreya Uvach. Prajah Srijati Bhagavan Kardamo Brahmano Ditaha Saraswatyam Tapastepe Sahasranam Sama Dasha. The great sage Maitreya replied, commanded by Lord Brahma to beget children in the worlds, the worshipful Kardamuni practiced penance on the bank of the river Saraswati for a period of 10,000 years. Here it is the long time they are doing. Swami Maharaj is telling, we do not know. First he is explaining that very long time they were practicing. Then here he's saying, we do not know how people can be captivated by the bogus yoga system in which it is stated that simply by meditating 15 minutes daily, one can attain the perfection of becoming one with God. Actually, there is no possibility of attaining yoga perfection by such paltry proposals. The Vedic literature, for emphasis, clearly states 3 times that in this age of Kali, Kalo Nasteva, 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 there is no other alternative, no other alternative than Harer Nam, chanting the holy name of the Lord. This we have to accept, and without offenses, with surrender, then automatically you will be inclined to chant all the time. Tatah samadhi yuktena kriya yogena kardama Samprapede Harim Bhaktya Prapanna Vara Da Shusham. During that period of penance, the sage Kardam, by worship through devotional service in trance, Samadhi Yuktena, means one-pointed concentration. Propitiated means satisfied the personality of Godhead, who is the quick bestower of all blessings upon those who flee to him for protection. Those who surrender, then they will get. Tavat prasanno bhagavan pushkaraksha krite yuge darshayam asatam kshata shabdam brahma dadhat vapu. Then in the Satya Yuga, the lotus-eyed Supreme Personality of Godhead, being pleased, showed himself to that Karda Muni and displayed his transcendental form, which can be understood only through the Vedas. Here in commentary, here 2 points are very significant. The first is that Karda Muni attained success by yoga practice in the beginning of Satya Yuga, when people used to live for 100,000 years. Karda Muni attained success, and the Lord, being pleased with him, showed him his form, which is not imaginary. Sometimes the impersonalists recommend that one can arbitrarily concentrate one's mind on some form he imagines or which pleases him. But here it is very clearly said that the form which the Lord showed to Karda Muni by his divine grace is described in the Vedic literature, Shabda Brahma. The forms of the Lord are clearly indicated in the Vedic literature. Karda Muni did not discover any imaginary form of God, as alleged by rascals. He actually saw the eternal, blissful and transcendental form of the Lord. When Srila Sai Maharaj is saying rascals, that is not arrogance, worldly, that false ego, false pride. That is compassion, to cut through Maya, misunderstanding, from his realized state. But when he is looking up, then he is always humbler than a blade of grass, always in the service of Krishna. And because Krishna ordered him to preach, to help conditioned soul come out of Maya, he has to say in such a way. But that is not arrogance. It is extreme compassion to make us awake. Sometimes they use anger also to show our foolishness, just to help us. Satam virajam arkabham sita padmot palasrajam snigda nila lakavrata vaktrabjam virajam baram. Karda Muni saw the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is free from material contamination, in his eternal form, effulgent like the sun, wearing a garland of white lotuses and water lilies. The Lord was clad in spotless yellow silk, and his lotus face was fringed with sleek dark locks of curly hair. Kiritinam kundalinam shanka chakra gadadharam shvetotpala krira nakam manah sparsha smitekshanam. Adorned with a crown and earrings, He held his characteristic conch, disc and mace in 3 of his hands and a white lily in the 4th. He glanced about in a happy, smiling mood whose sight captivates the hearts of all devotees. Vinyasta charanam bhojam angsha deshe garutmatah drishtva kevastitam vakshah shriyam kaustuva kandaram. A golden streak on his chest, the famous Kaustuva gem suspended from his neck, he stood in the air with his lotus feet placed on the shoulders of Garuda. These are descriptions of Vedic scripture. And sometimes, like Narad described to Dhruva, so we have to hear about Krishna from authentic sources, Vedic literature and also realized source appearing in Guru Parampara. Then we have to accept that and worship, meditate, then we can realize. When Dhruva saw this form, then he lost all desires. If we have any separate desire, any ulterior desire, our Gurudev used, any selfish desire, anything except service of Krishna, that will ultimately bring us to suffering. It may give some temporary sense enjoyment, but ultimately there will be suffering. So, out of compassion, like Srila Sai Maharaj, out of compassion, they are speaking in this way. You are stupid, you are foolish, you are rascal. So compassionate. Because such devotees, they consider worldly name and fame as worse than or like stool of a hog, very impure. Hog or pig, he eats stool of others. So what he produces, what kind of stool, you can imagine what impurity is there. So such devotees who have realization of Bhagavan, they think worldly name and fame is like this. So how they can be arrogant? No, they're not arrogant, they are compassionate. They have no material arrogance. Although some people misunderstand, they think he's proud. Why he's telling rascals? That is extreme compassion. Because we are foolish. We are attracted by Maya, not knowing what is the ultimate result. So they are trying very hard to rescue us from that. Jata harsho patan murdna kshito labda manorata girbis tva grinat priti svabhavatma kritanjali. When Karda Muni actually realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead in person, he was greatly satisfied because his transcendental desire was fulfilled. He fell on the ground with his head bowed to offer obeisances unto the lotus feet of the Lord. His heart, naturally full of love of God, with folded hands, he satisfied the Lord with prayers. Conditioned souls, we have material desires, not transcendental desires. Material desires, and sometimes they are fulfilled and we feel happiness, but that does not last. Maybe it can be long time, but still it does not last. And then after losing, then we lament. But one who has transcendental desire, that is for the service of Krishna, then when that is fulfilled, then there is no end of that, and also there is no lamentation for such person. Only conditioned souls will lament. Inevitably, everyone, even those who are now seemingly very happy, after some time, we all lament. So we have to cross over this and come to transcendental fulfillment. Tomorrow we'll further hear.